Hello. Welcome to Verbling. I am teacher Oakley. Welcome to the class. In today's class, we will continue our IELTS course, IELTS speaking specifically. And today we will practice. We will listen to an example of an actual IELTS speaking test, part 2. Today we're going to be looking at part 2, which is the one part of the IELTS test that is actually timed. Okay. What happens is you'll be sitting there with an interviewer face to face, and he or she will hand you a small laminated card with a question on it. And as well, they'll hand you a pencil and paper. You can make notes. You have 1 minute to prepare yourself. When you're finished, after the 1 minute, the interviewer will say, okay, you now need to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Please begin. And then you need to speak on the questions on the card for 2 minutes. That's the task, and that's what we're going to practice today. Hello, Hamid. How are you?
Hello, Sir Oakley. I'm really pleased to see you again.
well, thank you. Likewise, nice to have you in the class.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Ida. How are you today? Ida and Ida and your microphone. Every day, Ida. All right.
No problem, teacher.
Oh, Ida, every day she has problems with her microphone. But she always fixes it. She'll figure it out. I'm fully confident. Okay. Let me give you a few, while we're waiting for the class to fill up, a few tips and hints about Task 2 and IELTS. There's a couple mistakes that students frequently make. The most frequent mistake is people miss one of the parts of the question on the card. We're going to look at several examples of what the question will look like today, so you'll become familiar with that. You've got to make sure that you hit all of the bullet points and the final additional part of the question on the card. That is the biggest, most common mistake that people make. There's a couple strategies to do that. Strategy 1, you can actually look at the card, and as you go down the bullet points, you can actually put your finger on the card, on the desk, and you can actually draw your finger down as you cover each point. Okay, but of course that means you're going to have to look down at your finger and look back up and look down at your finger. And you have the card, and then you have your notes. So that involves a lot of look here, look there, look up at the interviewer, up, over, up, over, up, over. What I might suggest, what I recommend, is you do something like this. Your notes are crucial, okay? TOEFL, IELTS, whatever, and any of these tests, if you have an opportunity to make notes, it is absolutely to your benefit to do so, and making good notes is one of the keys to your success. What I might do, the question 2 is always a description question, so you're going to have a lot of who, where, what, when, why, how type questions. So what I do is when I'm making my notes, for example, if the question is something about a place that you went on vacation, and I might write where, when, and a dash. Why did you go there? Oh, why go? And a dash. Would you recommend? And I'll write recommend, dash. So that I make sure I can just look at my notes. I won't even look at the card as I'm speaking. I'll look only at my notes, but the points I have to cover are already on my notes. All right? Now, how you do it is up to you. how you organize your notes. This is just a suggestion for me. You need to practice this and figure out what works for you, really. Okay. Now, as far as writing your notes, you can write your notes in Russian or Japanese or Thai or Vietnamese. It doesn't matter what language you write your notes in, although, honestly, I've done many practice classes with students, live classes, one-on-one, and I find that if students make notes in their native language, sometimes they slip up and use a word from their native language, which is a big, giant, enormous no-no in IELTS. You cannot speak in your native language. You have to speak only in English. There are exceptions, such as if you're giving a movie title or a book title. You know, what's your favorite movie, and you give the title in Japanese. When you do that, however, you should be able to say in English that translates as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, whatever. Be able to say the title in English as well. So sometimes I find when students make notes in their own native tongue, they'll actually say a couple words, which is a big, again, not good. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm going to just say a really quick hello to everyone. Check on your microphones. Hello, Ahmed. How are you? Ahmed, are you there? Okay, Ahmed, get your mic working. Ida, do you have a microphone yet? Okay. Ida, I know you can do it. Hello, am I speaking with Anastasia or Roxanne?
No, it's me.
Oh.
Sorry,
Hi, Anastasia.
I forget to type something in the chat. How are you doing?
Yeah, you didn't give me the clue today.
Yeah, sorry, I forget. I was listening to you.
Okay, yeah, I'm so enthralling that you couldn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
How are you today?
Exactly. I'm doing pretty well, thanks for asking.
Okay. Ida's mic is asleep. Well, bang on its little microphone head.
I don't know.
Oh, there you go. It's working now.
Oh, he has got it now. Oh, good morning, everybody.
Morning, Ida. Hello, Blake. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm doing well. Nice to have you in the class. Where are you from, Blake?
I'm from Chile. Chile.
Is that name? Is that your nickname? Is that a normal name? That sounds like an American name.
I don't know. It's my name.
It's your name. It's just your name. Okay. Well, that's cool. All right. Hi, Mon. Good to see you again. How are you?
Hello. How are you, teacher?
Good. Thanks. We'll talk to you later. Good. Glad to have you in class. Hello, Mahmood. Good to see you, Mahmood, as always. Hello. Hi, Omar. Nice to see you, Omar. Again. Hello. Ayad is viewing outside the class. Hi, Omar. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Good. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Great. Who's this?
Okay. Welcome to the class. Glad you could come.
Thank you.
Hi, Tuyet. Good to have you back.
Hi, teacher.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and you, teacher?
Pretty good. Thanks. Pretty good, all things considered. All right. Let's take a look at. First, I'm gonna do a screen share. Hopefully, you guys have got these documents, which were all loaded up below the description card.
Sir.
You couldn't download them?
Yes, I have problem with documents uploaded in box.com and
I wonder why that is. Some students have problems. Anyway, it's not that crucial because I'm going to screen share this stuff with you, so to make sure everyone inside and outside the class gets a peek at it. All right, a task card is going to look just like this. Okay, it's going to be quite simple. It's always going to start out with describe something, blah, blah, blah. Or describe someone. It'll start out with describe, or it'll start with tell me about. One or the other, but basically it's always a description question. All right, in the example, I'm going to show you this. We're going to listen to actually an applicant or an IELTS test taker. We're going to hear the audio of them answering this question, and then we're going to also briefly look at the transcript. Then you guys are going to practice. All right? So here's a typical task card. Describe something you own, which is very important to you. You should say where you got it from. Okay? So if I'm making notes, I might write where got. How long you've had it. All right? I might jot down how long. What you use it for. I might jot down use it for. And this is sometimes students miss this last add additional point. Explain why it is important to you. I might jot down important. Okay? I can do that. I have 1 minute to prepare. I can jot those things down in what? 5 seconds? Still gives me 55 seconds to jot down phrases, keywords I'd like to use, or ideas that I can use in my writing. All right, now the instructions, all right, are here. You'll have to talk about the topic for 1 to 2 minutes. Always better if you can go 2 minutes and the interviewer stops you. You have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say and make notes if you wish. Again, you can make notes in Egyptian hieroglyphs if you so wish. All right, so here's the question. We're going to listen to an example of an answer. Please, everyone, microphones off, or please be quiet so everyone can hear. All right, listen up. Here we go. Hang on. Oops. Come on, play. Oh, how weird.
Alright.
Oh. Sorry.
Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now?
Yes. One of the most important things I have is my piano, because I like playing the piano. I got it from my parents to my 12th birthday, so I have it for about 9 years. And the reason why it is so important for me is that I can go into another world when I'm playing piano. I can forget what's around me and I can forget my problems, and this is sometimes quite good for a few minutes, or I can play to relax, or just, yes, to relax and to think of something completely different.
Thank you. Would it be easy to replace this piano?
Yes, I think it wouldn't be that big problem, but I like my piano as it is because I have it from my parents. It's some kind unique for me.
Okay. All right. I'm. As that was continuing. I've heard this before, but nevertheless, I was jotting down some notes about the performance of the speaker. I'd like to hear if anybody, if you guys heard any problems, or what problems you might have heard with that speaker. Let's see. Mahmood, start with you.
Yes.
What did you think of the speaker, and did you notice any problems in that audio?
I think he started pretty well, but towards the later part of his speaking, he was kind of hesitating and has not much to say about. Like he was stuck at kind of that I delve into some other world and forget my worries, and then I think he was completely blank that what to say next, and he was finished of the ideas. So I think he hasn't done his note making properly, or hadn't properly thought of what he was going to say about, or didn't even manage to cover whole prompts. So I think that was.
Yes, and in my notes, listening, I have hesitation and pause, arrow, notes. Actually, I have exactly the same idea. I don't think he did a good enough job on his notes. Very good observation, Mamu. I totally agree with you. Not only that, but because of that, he also repeated some information about relaxing. He phrased it differently, but it's repeating information. You don't want to repeat information. You want every sentence to be cohesive, to match the last sentence, but also to present new information. Very good observation. Let's see. Anybody else? That's the biggest point, actually. So, did anybody else notice any small problems with grammar, pronunciation? Obviously, because he was hesitating, it was throwing off his rhythm. Yes, I'm sorry?
That's okay. I was going to say the same as I don't know who was talking. To be honest, I didn't see
Mahmood, yeah.
I was going to say he was not focusing on one thing. Like I did the IELTS, so when I was talking to the teacher who was there, she said you need to focus on one thing, like to not distract by many things. The main subject.
Okay, well, your microphone is breaking up, but I think I got your main point. The speaker seemed distracted by something, so that he wasn't focused on the task. Okay, that's a good point. Actually, that's a very good point. Don't be distracted because it's raining outside, or because there's a window, or because you're focused on one specific idea, such as he was very focused on, I can relax, it sends me to another world. He couldn't get off that idea. He got stuck on it. He fell in love with one idea. Is that pretty much what you're saying?
Yes, and also because at the day before the IELTS exam I had, I didn't sleep well, so it was for me disaster.
Okay. Yes. All right. I said it before in these IELTS classes, and I'll say it again. And thank you, Mon, for backing me up. You've got to get a good night's sleep, because a lot of this test really requires you to be focused and concentrate intensely. If you're lacking sleep, yeah. Actually, me too, Mon. I took this test twice, and the first time I took it, I did not have enough sleep, and I blew it. And I'm a native speaker, so I totally understand. Yeah, okay. A couple other just small things I noticed, which for some reason aren't in the transcript. He did in the beginning when he said piano of of the most important things to me. That's called self-correction. So if I talk to you about self-correction, that was an example. He did it at least twice. He corrected and changed his grammar structure, which is not okay. The speaker mispronounced birthday. He said birthday. TH. Again, these little things can cause you points, like TH. Birthday. Stick your tongue out, people. Birthday. He missed an article. That big problem. I don't think it's that big problem. That big a problem. When after you do your speaking, he didn't speak for 2 minutes either. Which is, if you speak for 2 minutes, you're just covering yourself. Really try for 2 minutes. But don't repeat yourself. If you find yourself repeating information, like the speaker example we listened to, you need to stop, because it's going to cost you points. You're certainly not going to get points for repeated information. When the interviewer asked him the follow-up question in part 2 is very simple. You do not need a long answer. 1 or 2 sentences is fine. They're not looking for a big long answer. They're just looking for a quick remark in the follow-up. He actually talked maybe too much in the follow-up. Excuse me. And he made like 3 mistakes in the follow-up. He mixed an article. I don't think it's that big problem. It should be that big a problem. He said likes it instead of like it. I have it from my parents instead of I got it from my parents. It should be. All right. This speaker, you know, on this question, this is probably somewhere in 6 to 7 range. He wasn't horrible. You could understand him, but he lacked detailed information, and he repeated himself because he didn't have enough things to talk about, which the people judging this are going to assume that he lacks the vocabulary or ability, sentence structure, grammatically, to say anything more. This is probably a 6, 6.5, seriously. Okay.
May I ask you how many points did you get?
Me?
Yes.
Sure. I'm okay. I will tell you honestly, Mon, because the first time I took it, I had never seen IELTS. I was working in an academy, teaching English, and they required us, they wanted us to do the IELTS test. So the first time I took it, I had never looked at IELTS. I had no idea what was going to be on the test. I did get a 9 in speaking. However, like listening, because listening really takes focus and concentration, I got like a 6.5. I'm 6 or 6.5. I really bottomed out. I got a 9 in speaking. I think reading and writing I got 7.5. I then I realized how serious this was. If I wanted to teach it, I needed to learn it. I then took a pretty intensive course with an actual IELTS, one of the people that actually does IELTS for a living, or he used to, retired now. And 64 hours I studied. And the second test, I knew that I had to be rested, have plenty of food. I was prepared. And I 9. I got straight band 9s, my second try.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But even for the point is, the reason I share that, now I'm not trying to brag, the point is, if you go in tired or unprepared, you're not going to do as well. You have to prepare, you have to practice, you have to study, and as you said, Mon, you have to be well rested and ready for the test.
And you know one thing, the first time, because it was my first time and I never been to college before, it was like, you know, big surprise for me. And also because it was in different country from where I live, and so it was like something new, like adventure for me.
Like an adventure? Yeah, I know what you mean. Actually, no, I totally, I can relate. It was an adventure for me too. I don't know. The first time I took it, I was just like, whatever. I'm a native speaker, no problem. I'll ace this. I'll get a perfect score. Little did I know. Even a native speaker with TOEFL or IELTS or any of these, you have to study the test and understand the test and be prepared and practice. You have to. Even a native speaker can't just automatically do perfectly on the test. Not like that. Okay, let's do some practice. Actually, before we start practicing, has anybody else besides Maan taken the IELTS test?
Yes, me.
You have? Ayad? Okay. Yeah. Can you tell us anything about your experience taking IELTS? Yes, you don't have to share your scores or anything, but just any observations.
Well, there is nothing to hide. I had 6.5. It was 2 years ago, 3 years, and I undertook academic one because there is two, general and academic, I think.
That's right.
That's right, yeah. And I prepared. I wasn't good enough, but I did my best. It was easy, but my language, I wasn't well prepared. That's why I wanna do it again.
Okay, as you said, you absolutely have to be prepared. Yeah, just a quick note, general training and academic, there are differences between the tests, in particular in writing.
Yeah.
And somewhat in reading. I think
no, I think the essay, no. The writing and
writing for sure.
And yeah, right. Listening and speaking is the same.
Right, listening and speaking in the GT and the academic are the same. Right. Okay. Yeah.
But the writing, you have to write an essay, section, essay, and to describe a chart or a graph.
Yeah.
Writing in the academic, in the general, you have to write a letter of recommendation or to apply for something.
Yeah, it could. Well, it could be. It could be an informal or a formal letter in GT. Yeah, but and then the second question for either one is exactly the same. It's an opinion question. Right. Yeah, that was the most difficult part of the entire IELTS exam. I took academic as well. Was describing charts or graphs in writing.
I liked it.
You liked that? Oh my God, I hated that part.
Yes, analysis spirit. You have to analyze and to how to say, to express this amount of information or data to in a paragraph. I liked it. I like this kind of yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind it sharing opinions. You know, you've been to a few of my classes. Obviously, I have no problem sharing my opinions, speaking or writing. Yeah, but anyway, different people, different individuals, you will find different sections of the test more difficult. I have many students who find the listening to be really, really challenging, partly because of listening for specific information, partly because a lot of the speakers have British accents. So, hey, by the way, if you're going to take an IELTS test, start listening to BBC Radio or BBC News. The accent that they have in BBC channel is the accent you will hear in the IELTS test. It's a fairly neutral British accent.
Sometimes they give you Australian.
Yeah, they do. And sometimes you'll hear a Canadian, Hong Kong even. And where you take the test as well. I'm here in the Philippines, and so my students here, they take a test, and they've had an Australian interviewer in the speaking test. There's one lady from Hong Kong who's very strict. Oh, my students always hate her. She's shows no emotion, and she just speaks to the students. She's kind of scary. That's that's what I've heard. I've been lucky. I've had Aussies, Australians when I've taken it.
May I add something, please?
Yeah, sure.
You know, in that time when I went to the IELTS place, and I found one teacher who was very nice, and she gave me like I was practiced with her my speaking skills. So I was a bit lucky in this point, but in the other point I wasn't lucky. The first time I met this teacher, I was afraid of her. Like this lady, like everyone, was afraid of her. That was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's another good point. You don't try not to be afraid of the interviewer. They're not there to punish you, and usually they will try to. They're supposed to be neutral, but you could even hear in the audio we listened to the interviewers going, and you can imagine he's nodding his head and being encouraging. They don't want you to fail. They want you to do well, really.
Well, and as advice, you can scare them.
You can scare them?
Yeah.
I wish you could. If you had a mind to, if you wanted to, I guess you could.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, if they just are scared, you just you can make a face expression that you're just, scared me.
Right.
I will not scare you. Something like that.
Okay. Well, I want to address Ida. Put a question in the chat box. She's asking me, how can you manage to show the interviewer that you've finished talking in this part of the text? You must say something concrete or just stop talking. You notice in the audio we listened to, that guy wasn't very good at it. He just sort of trailed off. That's not good. He did not do a good job. Really, ideally, if you're following the card, okay, let's see here. You're following the question card. You're talking the talking points. You're following along. And let's see. In our example, all right, he's talking about something important to you. And the last point is explain why it is important to you. Using something like saying, and that's why the piano is my most treasured possession. Something as simple as that. Falling intonation. And that's why, even you can even just use simple language like in conclusion, or to summarize, my piano is my most important possession. That'll do it. Okay, that'll do it. Actually the same way you do in writing.
Yeah, the same. Okay.
Yep, exactly.
Because sometimes I realize that I had that problem, that I don't have nothing more to say, and it's just I stop talking, and the other person is saying, "Oh, I don't know if he has finished or not," and it's quite weird to the
Right, and it makes you uncomfortable too.
Yeah, really.
Which is another point. If you're in the speaking test, whatever makes you comfortable, you should try to be as comfortable as possible. Occasionally you'll get a topic or something that you're not familiar with. Don't let that just fry your whole interview. Just, plow on. You're going to be able to make up ground later, and I really think they take that into account. If you sort of muff one question, you can still get a really good score. Don't let it make you crash and burn the whole test.
May I ask you another question?
Certainly.
The teacher, I was talking to her, not the one I practiced with her, the one who was in second floor. She started to ask me personal question. I look at her, and I didn't know, to be honest, do I answer or what do I say? And I said whatever. And I continue in my mind. And I was laughing, I was smiling, because she started to ask me like personal question. I said, okay, let's continue. I don't mind.
Oh, okay. Well, part one of the speaking tests are questions like a personal conversation based on your personal experience and or preferences. You should try to really, don't. I know some people are shy. They don't like to share information about themselves. If it really bothers you, you can get away with saying, I really would rather not talk about that. It's very emotional for me. Something like that. And that would not count against you. If it really is something that bothers you. But for the most part, it's like you're talking to a psychologist or your priest or something. Don't worry, they're not going to go tell people what you said or anything. And if your other comment that you were laughing in the interview, a lot of people do. You get many people when they're nervous, they kind of laugh a little or giggle. Oh my goodness. That's okay. If you use exclamations like, oh my goodness, what a question. That's okay. It's all right to be a little emotional and show emotional intonation. That's actually good. That's going to be a plus.
Okay.
It's not a bad thing. All right. I'm talking too much today. Okay, let's look at a question and have people practice it now. Because you have time to practice. All right, do I have a volunteer? I need 2 volunteers. Yes?
Me?
Yes.
Anastasia?
Yes. Yeah.
And okay.
Yes.
And Mahmoud. All right, I'm gonna screen share the question here. I'm gonna give you guys time to make notes. All right, hang on.
Uh-huh.
And I guess ladies first, Mahmoud. I hope you don't mind. We'll have Anastasia go first. Please, if you guys are doing this at home, go ahead and make notes. Here's your question. I'll read it to you because I'm not sure how blurry it is as well. Describe a beautiful place to visit in your country. You should say where it is, how to get there, what there is to do when you are there, and explain why you recommend this place. Okay?
Teacher, we both have the same question?
Yeah, I'm going to give you both the same question.
Okay.
Because we're running out of time. Unfortunately. We need a longer class, really. Okay. I'm going to give you a little time to do that. Hopefully I won't disturb you too much talking to the rest of the class. As I mentioned before, one of the biggest mistakes is missing one of these points. Sometimes they will do this too. They will have a point like where it is. You should say where it is and when the last time you were there. Sometimes these single points here, sometimes they're actually 2 questions. You have to be aware of that. All right? And that's very normal in IELTS. They'll try to do that. You might have a where and when there, or who with, something like that. It's very common. Another common mistake in this question is, for some reason, the interviewer will say, okay, please begin speaking, and the test taker will pause for like 10 or 15 seconds because they haven't thought of their first sentence. That's one thing. When you're in your minute and you're making notes, you should be thinking of your lead-in sentence. It can be very simple. Like, I'd like to talk to you about the Philippines. A very special place in the Philippines is the island of Palawan, like that. Okay, Anastasia?
Okay,
Are you...
I can start?
Please begin.
Okay, I live in Kazakhstan and I would like to tell you about one of the most beautiful places in Kazakhstan. It's a lake. The name of the lake is Alakol Lake, and it's very big and very beautiful. It's a salty lake, one of the most biggest lake in the world. So every people in Kazakhstan go to there to relax and have fun because the water is really useful for your health. You can get there by bus. If you want, you can buy a ticket and go by bus there. There are a lot of hotels and places where you can stay. Or you can take your friends with a car and go by car there as you wish. Of course, if you take car, it will be faster than taking the bus. But it depends how much money do you have and your desire. Also, when you go to this lake, there are a lot of trees and deserts, beautiful nature. You can see it also very attractive while you go there. I was there 2 years ago, first time, but I was really excited about this, and I have a desire to come back there this year. I think Alcohol Lake is the best place where you can visit in Kazakhstan. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. All right. A couple comments. Where it is, yep, I got all the points. First thing they're going to be scoring you on, did you get all the points? All the talking points. How to get there, yep. What there is to do when you're there, yeah. Plenty of information, explain why you recommend this place. I think she covered all the points. One thing, your pace of speaking, all right, you're speaking faster than you normally do. I know how fast you talk. No need to do that. Don't think that a faster pace is going to help you. It won't. In fact, not in your case. You don't really have much of an accent. But for people in the class or outside viewing, in fact, slowing down your pace a little bit, thoughtfully slowing down, actually will help to eliminate your accent problems. So if anything, slow down. Speeding up is never going to help you, really. Anastasia, you should just talk normally. Your normal rate of speech is very understandable and relaxed sounding, and don't hurry yourself. Okay?
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Small mistakes, the little nitpicky grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation mistakes. First of all right, fluency and cohesion, it was all very cohesive. I heard a story, I understood the story, okay, high marks there. Some vocabulary, grammar problems. You said every people like to go there. What should you say?
Most people.
Most people like to go there. Many people like to go there.
Everybody.
Everybody likes to go there. There's a few different ways. All right. You said the weather there is useful for your health. That's a little strange phrasing.
I wanted to say the water.
The water.
The water, yeah.
But still, when we normally say, "Oh, the mountain springs are good for your health," is the phrase we commonly use. Good for your health. All right.
Good for your health.
You could have used a couple other signal words or phrases to add information. You said also, da-da-da-da, also, da-da-da-da. I heard also at least 3, maybe 4 times. Otherwise, like as well, in addition, moreover, you need more different signal phrases, so you're not using the same ones. You said while you go there, it should be when you go there. Also, while you go there, when you go there, all right. And you said something about you went there, I was really exciting. While I'm sure that you are really exciting as a person. I'm sure you are. But in that case, you're excited to be there. So I was really excited. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. But I do want to add, it's very good to talk about your emotions when you're answering these questions, particularly part 2, because you're often going to be talking about a situation. Definitely good. It's going to boost your vocabulary score to talk about your emotions. I felt really nervous. I was feeling very scared. I was excited. Remember your feelings about yourself when you describe them. We use ED. I'm bored. I'm excited. Okay. When you're talking about a movie, it was boring. It was exciting. It was thrilling.
Yeah.
The roller coaster ride was thrilling, but I was thrilled. Remember that. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But
thank you.
But not bad overall. Decent answer. 7.5 maybe. Good.
Thanks.
Pretty good. Okay, Mahmood, you want to give it a shot?
Yes,
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. I'd like to talk about a beach that is known as Seaview Beach. It's located in Karachi, and actually it's at the outskirts of the city, about 30 kilometers from the city center. Since I live in Karachi, and it's the only place, it's only the city in the Pakistan where we have got plenty of beautiful beaches. And the place I'm telling you about is really, very special because it has got a really pristine look and a very peaceful environment and very clean surroundings. It's another thing I want to talk about is accessibility, or you can reach there in no time because you have got a lot of easily available public transport going there, and you can a lot of people are traveling there on especially on the holidays. You can even get a lift or a hitchhike, and you can do a lot of things when you're at a beach, like you can meet a lot of foreigners there, and as well as there are local people. You can play beach volleyball there. You can even just enjoy the calm and the peaceful water there, and just go into that water and just forget your worries and all that. The last time, I've actually quite recently, I went there last Sunday with my family, and we enjoyed a lot because all of my family get together there, and we played a lot of games. We enjoyed our meal there, and even I took a sunbath, and as a reason of that, I got a tan and some sort of sunburn also. So you kind of avoid that. Not too much enjoyment, but I think it's the really good thing about that place is its cleanliness and the pristine appearance. You'll really appreciate that. I think that's all about my answer.
Okay. 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 I think that's all about my answer, and that's probably not the best ending. But okay, really, you can hitchhike in your country? This is more like a personal question than a real IELTS follow-up. Really?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Is it common to hitchhike in your country?
Yes. It's not too uncommon, but you can do it.
Okay. Cool. When I was young, I loved to hitchhike in the United States. Now nobody does it anymore. Too many freaks. Okay. Feedback time. Again, a little bit fast. I felt like it was really hurried. 2 minutes is really enough time, I think, to give enough detail to do well on this question. Actually, you know, like a TOEFL test where you only have 45 seconds or a minute, I think the danger, trying to speak fast may actually help you. I don't think it's necessary in IELTS. I liked you can forget your worries and all that. very much a colloquialism that's actually showing an understanding of the English language. That's using expressions like that is very is very good. Really, all very nice except one phrase. As a reason of that, I caught a tan. It was a little strange. As a reason of that, of course, we normally would just say because. Because of that, because of the sunshine or whatever it was, you don't catch a tan. We don't ever use that verb. I got a tan, or it sounded like really you got a sunburn, right? I did like a lot of the vocabulary. Hitchhike, pristine. There's some good vocabulary there. All right. Did you get all the points? All the talking points? I think so. Definitely how to get there, where it is. Obviously what there is to do there, yeah. Did you explain why you recommend the place? Yeah, I think so. Because he gave examples. Another great thing you can do, which is definitely going to get you points, give examples. Give examples from your own personal life. Mahmoud spoke about going there with his family and what happened to him while he was there. He got a sunburn, played a little volleyball, he sunbathed. Great. Gives you lots of things to talk about, and it's easy to talk in detail if it's something that you are very familiar with. By all means, tell a story if you can in the IELTS test. It gives you lots to talk about. Your story will follow a logical, cohesive progression because it's a story. It's good on many levels. All right, that was very good, Mahmoud. I don't know. That was even that was up. That was flirting with 8 at least. 7.5, 8, maybe. That was good.
Yeah.
Very good. Really good. Okay, let's. Okay, we got a few more minutes. Let's try another one. Can I get a couple other volunteers? Anybody else want to try? Ida?
I don't mind it.
You want to try, Ida?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'll let you try this one. Ooh, all right. Sometimes it's very general, like the last question. Sometimes the question may be much more specific. For example, this one here. Describe a newspaper or magazine you enjoy reading. You should say what kind of newspaper or magazine it is. For example, fashion. How often you buy it. What articles and information it contains, and explain why you enjoy reading it. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to make notes. All right, as hopefully I won't disturb you as you're doing that, just a couple of things as far as topics in IELTS. Mostly topics are academic, well, especially in the academic test, obviously, or things in current events, or things that are topical, things that people are talking about in the newspapers, on TV, etc., like global warming, women's rights is very common right now. I fully expect the next IELTS test to have some questions about women's rights. Things like that. Sometimes the topics are very general, and sometimes they're very, very specific. Sometimes very general about your job, what you like to do in your free time, about transportation in your city. Sometimes strangely specific, like about what newspaper or magazine you like, for example. Or how are birds important in your culture? That's a real IELTS question. So sometimes they're a little stranger. Okay. Ida, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Please begin.
Okay. Well, usually I don't read many newspaper and magazines, but The most I like is one called, in Spanish is Investigación y Ciencia, and translated at English is like research and science or something like that. It is a magazine, a scientific magazine, so you can read articles from all kind of scientific breakthroughs like physics, chemistry, nature, and all of that. I buy this magazine every month. It is a monthly magazine. But some months, the truth is, some months I can afford buying it because it's very expensive. At least for me, that nowadays I'm not working, so it's quite expensive. And well, the information that you can find in these magazines is, how I have said before, is all related with science, but concretely with breakthroughs. So I really like it because I enjoy being up to the day with all things of science, concretely of nature, of the environment, of the damage that we are creating to our environment, and it's quite interesting. And I also enjoy reading it because for me it's quite useful to my job, because when I work as a science teacher, even I currently I'm not working, but I work as a science teacher, so it helps me very much to work with my students and to let him know all the latest breakthrough of science. They always find my articles, or the articles I choose from this magazine, quite interesting.
Oh, so you use this articles and information from the magazine in your classrooms?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Sometimes not. So to prepare some classes or to do something different.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's see. All right. I like your pacing of speech and your rhythm's pretty good. One thing you repeated a little information about it's about breakthroughs and blah 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 blah. At that point,
realized it.
Yeah, I know you realized it halfway through. I noticed. I could sense that you were realizing it. All right. What you should do at that point, and you should not have been afraid, absolutely, to actually talk about an article, one that you found interesting, maybe, in the magazine. The more specific you are, the more detail you can give, the better you will do on the test. Okay?
Okay.
That right there, you repeated information that probably lowered your score. If you'd have given me a really good example of an article, that would have opposite. Your score would have gone up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was a great opportunity to actually describe an article.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. A couple small things. You said the magazine, the most I like. Okay. The magazine I like most is.
Yeah.
Okay. Translated at English.
To English.
Yeah, translated to English or in English. Usually it's really supposed to be translated into English.
Okay, into.
Sometimes you will hear in or to, but it's supposed to be into. Okay, you had I'm saying this just to point it out. You mispronounced monthly. You didn't say the TH, but then you said months. Some months, you pronounced it perfectly. I just want to point this out because if you have the same word or a different version of the word and it's clear that you know how to pronounce it, but you made one mistake earlier, you know what? You wouldn't lose any points for that, actually. So if you just flub one word accidentally, you're not going to lose anything for that. I don't remember in what context, but you said how I speak before. Oh, that's when you were talking about breakthroughs again. This is how I speak. This is what I said before.
Yeah.
Or this is what I told you before. Something like that. I think that's about it. Pretty good. Oh, that is it. Oh my gosh, I'm out of time. Okay. Thanks a lot, everyone. Hope you learned something about the IELTS test. I've got to go. I'll be back again this same time tomorrow to talk about IELTS question 3, the big one, the opinion question. I have to go now because actually I have another class coming up in the next hour. I'll be talking about intonation.
Actually, have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.